What's up guys, I am back with an unplanned deck video this time around and another shorter one at that. Magnets are one of my favorite old decks from Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's pretty much one of the only things I wanted to try out after the latest box, King's Court. For some reason Magnets did get one new support spell called Magnet Induction, which basically lets you summon a magnet from the deck if you control one on the field. It's simple enough, but the spell also has a neat protection effect during the turn you use it for your magnet monsters. Now while this spell is great for getting the needed pieces out of the deck, which is the game plan, I do wish the protection effect involved banishing the spell from the grave during either player's turn. The Magna Warriors care more about being disrupted with Ash Blossom or other negates as opposed to being destroyed, since you will be banishing them anyway for Berserkion. Going second, the spell can be great for Berserkion pushes, but it can be a decent chance that you won't have any Magna Warriors left on the field to use the spell for. I did replace Ties of the Brethren with this, since the 2000 life point cost plus restriction can be a little costly though, so it's still a valuable extender for getting potential Link or Exceed monster on the field after searching. Not much else changed in the list for me for the most part from how I used to play the deck a while ago. The goal is to get all three magnets out of the deck to summon Berserkion for your offensive pushes, while using them as extra deck materials to assist with the push or to defend yourself with going first. I did run Fusion Recycling Plan for the easier option of searching the lone Polymerization, as Imperion Magnum is a pretty beefy boss monster to have with a negate. The only time I would go into him is if I opened one of the level 8 Magna Warriors with an Alpha and a way to go into Verdant Anaconda or get in Polymerization. There isn't a lot of room for crazy text in the list because it is almost mandatory to run the max ratio of Magnet Warriors to trigger the spell. I did have some terrible bad luck at some point where I would only see level 8 Magna Warriors, so Valkyrion may be an option to cut down to 1, you just lose out on the nice flow from Imperion Magnum if you fuse into it. I wouldn't normally think that I would need Prosperity in the list, but for some reason I did have turns where I didn't open a Magnet monster, which is unheard of, so I replaced Torrential Tribute with the pot. Outside of having Called by the Grave or a Hand Trap, this is probably one of the best combo hands to get if you don't get disrupted. It probably surprised me at first doing it, but thanks to the Revive extension, I'm able to get IP Masquerena and Gorgonic Guardian going first while also setting the next turn up for a Berserkion board clear. Apollousa is also an option and may be better in this scenario since the Knightmare Unicorn play looks sus with our good hand. We also could have played safe and not spend as many resources to overextend, since we pretty much have the guaranteed Berserkion next turn. The field spell also only works if you control level 4 or lower magnets, so saving one could have been ideal. The sad thing about this cool board is that we are not up against a deck that cares about monster negates or IP, as they have some of the easiest monster removal in the game. Dragoon is surprisingly scary for this deck to face if it gets over the 3000 threshold, so my main focus was either using the field spell to bounce it after a negate, or crashing Berserkion since it floats back into his minions. Weighing the options, crashing felt like a much better option since you gain 2 cards from Beta and Alpha, as well as the materials to generate a defensive board again, as opposed to just having Berserkion on the field. It was really rare for me to rely on Berserkion's float effect, but it does come in clutch since you can just summon him again the following turn, kind of like ABC Buster Dragon. Despite evenly matched being quite a filthy card to get hit with, the Magnet Induction in the hand lets us maintain ourselves a little, and we can revive the Dragoon we just destroyed for a negate. Doing this, I suspected my opponent would have a Kaiju for it, but it was the best revive target since I already used all the search effects previously. Regardless, Berserkion comes out next turn again since I got all my new pieces out of the deck. My opponent does misplay slightly and crash in Wyvern for whatever reason when it could have helped for defense after Lightning Storm, but in all honesty it doesn't matter since Berserkion had one piece of fuel to banish for the pop. This deck is purely for fun and won't get any crazy results going for it against most meta decks, but it does have a chance against them if you play your cards right and get lucky. That's going to be it from me. Enjoy the replays and make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video.